All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about what is an agent really? You've heard this term thrown around, agentic AI agents. It's all the buzz. Your boss is talking about it. The other business owners around you are talking about it. Everyone's going on and on. But what is an agent really? Because it sounds complicated. Y'all, it is so laughably simple. Once you watch this video, you are going to understand agents better than 99% of the people in the room with you. All it is a set of instructions written in English. That is all an agent is. If you take away nothing else from this video, just understand it is a set of instructions written in plain English, or it could be in Spanish, I suppose. Doesn't really matter, but it's not written in code. It is literally just language. Now, that language defines a persona, a workflow, a personality, those types of things. So if I created a file, it's a simple text file. The technical term you'll come across is .md, standing for markdown, and it just makes the text look a little bit nicer. We could make one that says, "You are a grumpy old man who lives at the edge of the woods, and anytime I talk to you, you're going to hate my ideas and not be a yes man. Give it to me straight." And then anytime we feel like the AI we're talking to is hyping us up, we just call this agent in and be like, "Hey, tell it to me straight." And he does. He follows those sets of instructions. That's all it is. If you understood that example, you now understand AI agents. Congratulations. You can stop watching the video. But if you want to keep on going, here we go. We're going to explain it a bit more. There's a bit more technicality to it, but not really. Because now we're coming across in the world these two terms, agents and skills. Okay? Because our brains want to understand these things a little bit differently. Agents are the personalities, the jobs, the attitudes, the motivations like I just described to you. The skills become the repeatable workflows. Okay, I'll give you a practical example later, but an agent could also be a workflow, and when it first came out, they were. But then people were like, well, it doesn't make much sense. Let's come up with a new word just for the workflows and conceptualize it a little bit differently. It's still just plain English instructions. Okay, they're the same thing almost. It's just the way we conceptualize it and the way we use it in our day-to-day and in our projects. But they're fundamentally the same thing. So again, still plain English. The skills are written no different than the agents. There's no special coding language that you need to understand to make these. So why? Why do we use them? This is a very simple answer. One is speed. Because imagine this, speed and efficiency really, these are the two big ones. Imagine you were constantly having to type out 3 paragraphs that said, look, you are this grumpy old man who lives on the edge of the woods. Here's what motivates you. Here's how I want you to answer the questions I ask you. And you end up writing 2 or 3 paragraphs. And you get a really good answer. Well, if you had to write that every time you want to get this guy's opinion, you may stop doing it because it's taking you forever. So it's really just a way of copying and pasting those things very, very quickly. And then systemization within a business, right? Because if we follow the same steps, let's create a little system for it that we can call whenever we need. So who makes a skill or an agent? Well, let me get that out of the way. The cool thing is actually that thing you just saw pop up on the screen was a skill I made earlier today that is automatically running. It is just running right now without me asking it to, and it is loading up my YouTube channel to see, hey, are there any new videos that Tal's uploaded that we need to create a title for, a description, and schedule? Because I hate doing those things. Those are the tedious tasks. I just upload the video, don't even give it a title, and then just walk away. I cannot be bothered to do any more than that because I'm too busy, right? And I made it, right? But who else can make agents? Anyone. Your grandma can make agents. She would call them recipes, right? But that's an agent or a skill at the very least. Your kid could make one. And most importantly, you can make them. You can make them. How? How can you make them? By talking or writing in plain old English. That's all you have to know how to do. I often talk to my AI with voice to text on my computer. I'll hold down a button. I use this particular app that I do not have an affiliate code with, but maybe I should get one. That way if you sign up, I can make some money. But anyways, Aqua Voice is what I use. It's $9 a month. It's very good, very, very fast. I just hold down a button, talk, and then let go, and then all the words I just said are like, boom, right there. Then I press enter. There's probably other ones that are similar, so you can just go find them. And there's even built-in ones into your keyboard, but they're not that great. At least I haven't found them to be. Maybe they've gotten updated. So by writing or talking in plain old English. Okay, example time. Let me give you an example of, well, we've kind of already given you the example of the agent, so I'm going to skim over that one, letting you know that like the skill and the agent, you make them the exact same way. So here's a skill that I made yesterday that's saving me a ton of time. And in a way, this skill, it kind of blurs the line between skills and agents, okay? And you'll kind of understand how they're very, very similar, almost the same thing once you watch this example. So here's the one that I made. The command I type in to my Claude code, which I have other videos on Claude code and how to use that, it's also very simple, is state ledge, that's the name of the app I'm working on, dash panel. So I wanted to bring in a panel of customer stakeholders with like, you know, I like a lot of details of how they think and what they're motivated by and who they are, and then answer questions I had about the product I'm building. So whenever I type this in, what happens is 5 different people, and then people is like an idea, right? They're not real people, but 5 different personas are spawned, agents really. The skill spawns them and just creates them. And they look at like what's going on in the chat, right? And this guy's motivated and she's motivated a certain way, right? And, you know, all these geniuses are just here at my disposal now. And they're here to, you know, give me feedback on the task at hand. So they'll chat to each other and they'll think, and then they'll come back to my main AI dude who's like right here, right? He's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Tal all day. And they just report all their news to him. Like, hey, here's what we think about this. And then he tells it to me. Okay, so here I am over here. And then what I've been doing the last 24 hours is saying, okay, whatever they said, do it. Like, I don't even read it. Okay, I'm literally having AI make all of the decisions for me. And I've got a recent YouTube video on that you can go watch out that I published a few days ago. AI makes all the decisions. And a millionaire told me that's what he's doing in his business. And I was like, what? That is a radical idea. But again, I'm having them, who I made, I thought about this, their feedback, they're the customers for this app I'm building, right? These people. So how they want the app, it should be built that way. So yeah, in that case, let the AI make all the decisions. Now, I'll report back how this goes after a week or two, okay? Maybe the worst idea on the history of the planet ever, but so far it's actually been really interesting, and the app is going directions I would never have thought. But it makes sense. So this is a skill. How did I make this? By talking. I said, hey, I want to create a panel. And then once I did it the first time, I was like, okay, let's do this as a skill. Create a skill, please, that I can call at any time. And then this dude, my main AI, Claude Code specifically, which you notice in this example, Claude Code isn't coding. He's just writing English for me. Claude Code is not just for coding. Another video on that soon, but the name is kind of deceptive, okay? I'll talk about Claude Code soon in another video with what OpenClaw is, what Claude Code is, what chat, you know, all these different things. What really are they? Because it's so laughably simple once you really back up for a second. Like, it really is. So what if you mess up? Okay, so what if you mess up your agent or your skill and you're like, oh, I've never done this before. Like, is it going to be good? You just roll again. It's kind of like rolling the dice. Bill, well, I don't really like the way the agents are giving me feedback. Maybe that's what I say. So I say, hey, I don't really like this. Claude Code, fix it. Here's what I expect. Here's the result I expect out of this. And then it'll go modify the skill for you and run it again. Is that closer? Yeah, it is. Cool. So it's kind of impossible to mess up if you're just willing to go back and forth a little bit and be adaptive. So what is an agent? An agent equals English inside a markdown file. Now, the markdown file, it may not always be this way. They may find a better way to write this stuff a year from now. But it's English. That's the timeless piece. It's just English instructions. The AI under the hood, we're not talking about how AI works under the hood, because that's not practical. We practically can't utilize any of that for our businesses and our lives. But just understand the AI reads the English, and then it figures out what to do to achieve the goals set forth. It's not magic, but it kind of feels like magic sometimes. It uses math and probabilities to do it, but we don't have to understand the core technology to understand how to practically implement it and see results. All right, those are two different skill sets. I've met some people that can build their own AIs that don't understand how to practically use them, and it's a different skill set. And a skill is English inside a markdown file. They're the same thing. Now, we conceptualize them differently, right? An agent is that persona, that personality. A skill is something maybe an agent can use. So when it's running these instructions, it may be like, well, this guy needs to look at this skill to do this thing. Let's go read that set of instructions too, under the perspective this persona would have. And that's all. So if you want to learn more, hopefully this was enlightening, but if you want to learn more, you can go to leveluplocal.com, where I release a bunch of stuff, plug and play templates, leveluplocal.com. More tutorials, all sorts of beautiful things that are just going to immediately start saving you time and money. Plug into your business, plug into your life, automate things, learn how to build practically with AI. Head over there, check it out. Hope you enjoyed. And now I'm pretty sure you can answer the question, which is what is an AI agent, right? If anyone asks you that, you're going to be now part of the 1% that actually understands what it is. And next time someone's trying to make it really complicated, you're gonna know that they don't fundamentally understand it, and you're gonna be able to explain it to everyone else around you a little bit faster and easier. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.